And what's happening, Cincinnati Soccer Talkers? We're live here on Facebook and YouTube and CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. If you're watching us live, you're not going to see our beautiful faces this week. That's because we are having some issues with video the last few weeks. So rather than worry about video, we want to present to you a clean audio broadcast, and that's why we're doing audio only. So it's our own little version of iHeartRadio, right, guys? I mean, hey, that's what we're here for. Anyway, what it means is we're live. We're talking all things FC Cincinnati. We're talking about the loss to Charleston. It's like deja vu all over again. Last season, FC Cincinnati goes down to Charleston in their opener, and they lose to the Charleston Battery. And guess what? The same thing happened again this week. So we'll recap the game against the Charleston Battery. And, of course, we'll look ahead to a big game coming up this weekend in Pittsburgh as FC Cincinnati tries to get their first points of the season. This episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk is brought to you by KingsHammer.com, one of the finest soccer clubs in the region. You need to go check them out at KingsHammer.com. We thank Tim Bronsel and everybody over at Kings Hammer for their support of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Of course, a little bit later on, we're going to be joined by Jeff Smith. He's the VP of ticketing for FC Cincinnati. We'll talk about where things stand for the season opener and, of course, the new ticketing policy for the Bailey, which was announced this week as well. Don't forget, you can always call us. We'd love your feedback. 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK to have your voice heard here on this very program. Let's welcome in my cast of characters this week, the one and only Brian Weigel. Brian, welcome back to Cincinnati Soccer Talk, buddy.
Well, feels like I never left. Got to speak last week, got to speak on Thursday night, got to speak on Saturday night, so back on Tuesday. So, it's been great, but wanted to share with you guys a little bit of history came down this weekend in the Weigel, or today in the Weigel household. Second generation of Weigel put their soccer boots on, scored a goal in their first soccer practice, 2 years old. Awesome work there for little Brian Jr.
All right.
Cool. Our future FC Cincinnati star right there. Well done.
Well, we'll see. He wasn't no Messi, but it was fun.
Good stuff. Awesome welcoming back to the show, Brian Griffin. Griffin, what's going on, dude?
Oh, not much. Brian Weigel, I hope he wasn't Messi because he'd be banned for, four matches? How's it going, Subes?
Going well.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not doing video, so nobody can see that awesome background you've got behind you. What is that? Is that like some sort of signage that you got somewhere?
It kind of resembles a barrel topper with the FCC logo on it.
Good stuff. Eventually, we'll get to a point where we can show that bad boy off, but right now we're audio only, and that's okay. That's what the audio podcast listeners have at each and every week, so nothing new to these guys. But glad to have you back.
Sure.
Looking forward to get your take on the game against Charleston, because I'm sure you're going to be very very opinionated, as I'm sure all of us are here on this podcast. And last but not least, the man who made the trip down to Charleston himself. He's not allowed to do it anymore because he's bad luck. I'm just kidding, Boston Brazil. What's up, buddy?
Hey, yes, back from Charleston. That place lures you in with its warmth, its southern charm, but it's barren of points every year.
Yeah, we don't do so well down there. It looked promising for a little bit early on in that match, but just for whatever reason, we never seemed to do well down in Charleston. But looked like from the pictures I saw, you had a good time, Boston.
I sure did. It was a great experience. I'd do it again, despite your objections. And really looking forward to it. We're going to Pittsburgh this week, not to jump ahead, but I think you guys can start calling me a soccer gypsy.
Yeah, you're just a nomad, soccer nomad. I like that one better.
All right.
Stop wearing yellow, Boston.
If I belly dance, can I be a gypsy?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
You might offend the other people on our bus, but yeah, sure.
All I'm just saying is this dude was wearing Pittsburgh gear yesterday, so I don't know if I can trust him.
Hey, I got a 25-year anniversary scarf. That was worth throwing on.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm interested to get your, find out all about this trip you took and your experience down in Charleston. We're going to be joined by Jeff Smith here in a few minutes to chat about the ticketing and everything going on with FC Cincinnati. So while we wait for that, I guess we can get into some initial thoughts surrounding the match. I'll start with you, Brian. Your overall feeling after a 2-1 loss to the Charleston Battery?
Well, we roughly put together a good 88 minutes. I'm going to steal this from Brad, but the 2 minutes that we were just completely stupid cost us that game. I mean, was it a lack of pressing from Aiden Quinn, or maybe just miscommunication with him and Tyler Pollock that led to the corner for the first goal? And then who knows what Austin Berry was thinking on that second goal. So just disappointed because overall I feel like I need to talk myself down a little bit from that performance. I didn't think they played horrible, but we're going to need to expect more from them.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by some of the defensive performances. And again, I don't want to go too far into it right now just because I know we're expecting to switch gears here in a minute with Jeff Smith. But Boston, you were there in person. Defensively, did it seem like they were just a step slower than some of those guys from Charleston?
Well, yeah, they held up pretty well throughout the game. I mean, if you think about it, it would have been 1-1 if you're talking about no PK. So if I told you before the game that FC Cincinnati would only give up a goal in their very first game right out of preseason, I think you would have took it. You know, if that's a 1-1 draw where you're still pulling away a point first game, I mean, we're not talking here about what a bad performance it is. I think we're talking about how we're lucky we got out of Charleston with a point. We've never done that before.
Yeah, I would have been real happy with a 1-1 considering that was my Growler Cup prediction. But that's neither here nor there. What about you, Griffin? When you were watching the game on YouTube, did the defensively, I know we've talked about the defense all preseason about them giving up goals left and right, but in the end, they really, as Boston said, they should have come out of that game with a 1-1 draw. But I don't know. I guess small margins there when you give up a penalty kick like that.
Certainly. Let's be honest. Everybody wanted the 3 points, but I think a little bit of everybody was looking for that, 3-0, 4-0 game that we know is coming with the talent and potential on this squad, but we gotta pull ourselves back a little bit and realize, new manager, new faces on the team. The chemistry is not there yet.
It wasn't the new faces that disappointed us the most. I think
still.
Yeah, but if you look at Jimmy, and I'll rail out some facts to you guys later on in the podcast about Jimmy's performance, but he was extremely disappointing. Honestly, I thought Wiedemann did okay considering he handled the bulk of any offensive production on that right side. And then the defense, I don't think the defense played too terribly poor. And just those two mistakes. I mean, the first half they were rocking it pretty well, at least for the first 30 minutes. So we'll dive down a little bit more statistics later, and of course on the March the Match Day podcast coming out Thursday. But all I'm saying is definitely we're going to cover some stats from the OptaStats platform that hopefully will give us a little bit more lead to what we actually did wrong.
Yeah, that's the nice thing is we'll be able to talk about stats a little bit later on in the program. We're going to be joined by Jeff Smith, the Vice President of Ticketing, very, very shortly. Of course, we would love to get your thoughts, FC Cincinnati fans, so please feel free to give us a ring, 513-399-KICK. That's 513-399-KICK. Our main man, Brad Weigel, manning the phones tonight here on our podcast. So again, 513-399-KICK to get in touch with us to have your thoughts heard here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Well, as I mentioned, we're going to be joined by Jeff Smith of the front office. He's the Vice President of Ticketing for FC Cincinnati, and he joins us now here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Jeff, welcome to the show. Welcome back, I should say. How's it going? Jeff, you with us? Oh, let's try this again. You'd think we would know how to do this by now. Jeff, you with us now?
There you go.
There
I'm
we
with
go.
You guys, how we doing?
How's it going?
Good, good. How are things on your end?
We're doing really well. We're excited to have you back on the show. This is, an exciting time for you because of everything going on. You've got a few weeks to the home opener, and it seems like from everything we've been hearing from the club that ticketing has just been tremendous. Fill folks in. Where do things stand right now with that season opener? Are we looking pretty good?
Yeah, absolutely. And first and foremost, I just want to give a quick shout out to one of our best fans, Brian Haynes. We want to give a shout out to. I know he's on the mend right now, and just want to let him know that there's a lot of us pulling for him for a speedy recovery, and thoughts and prayers are going out to Brian. So, but yeah, as it relates to the opener, a lot of great momentum coming in from the inaugural season. Obviously, last year we finished the season with terrific momentum, just over 6,000 season tickets. So the sales team at FC Cincinnati, and that includes everybody in the front office, has been hard at work since really August is when that sales cycle begins for the next season. So it begins initially with renewals, and we've been at it ever since. So transitioning into the first match, over 11,000 season tickets, and we've got some additional records in our sites. Back in 2014, our friends in Sacramento set the USL record for opening night attendance of just over 20,000. So as you can imagine, we're targeting that number coming out of the gate. So we've got terrific support. This is a huge year for FC Cincinnati in many different ways, not just in the community and the turnstiles and attendance, but obviously on the pitch and what we're trying to prove in a championship type season, but also showcasing for the MLS. And we want to make ourselves seen and heard and known across the country, and really piggybacking on the momentum from last year. So we feel very excited about the home opener. And really, the way we looked at it last year, we had a lot of fun announcing that 10,000 number kind of the Monday of game week, and that you kind of had that feeling that it was going to be a big game. And we looked at the numbers that came after. This year, it's kind of moved up to that 15,000 number. So that Monday of game week, our target is to be closer to 15,000, which would really position ourselves favorably for a 20,000 number, really on a weekend and week out basis. And that's the goal. We really want to conclude the season by averaging over 20,000 a match.
Now, Jeff, you said we're already at the 11,000 mark, aiming potentially higher for this season. What has been the successful piece about this season? And then also, do you guys have any new packages that you've been offering that have really taken off and allowed our season ticket base to grow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, as it always does, it starts with your existing base. And even though we were only a year old, we had a very, very high renewal rate for our existing season ticket holders from year one. So there's your foundation every year. You want to hover around that 85% to 90% renewal rates, and we were right there coming out of the first year. So you lay a terrific foundation, and then our team across the board and front office across the board did a great job of really connecting well with a lot of those trial users. So the individuals that maybe came out to 2 or 3 matches, or maybe even 4 or 5 or 6, it was our job to connect with those folks, kind of tell the story, talk about opportunities, and try to re-engage them on a season ticket basis. So as the numbers show, we were pretty successful at that. So really targeting a lot of those trial users and first-time users. If you think about it, as a startup franchise coming out of the gate, you have an empty database. You don't have past users or non-renewals or people that have been around before. It was empty. So we had to fill that with users and first-time buyers, and we did that in year one. And we did a great job of transitioning them into season ticket holders. So we kept our season ticket prices flat for the most part, really as a reward and a thank you to all the fans from year one. And we tried to simplify things, to be honest with you. So in year one, we had different mini plans of different sizes and ticket quantities. We made it very, very simple this year with a pick 6 plan that fans, if they couldn't commit to a season ticket, could simply identify the 6 matches that could make sense for themselves or their families and take advantage of those games with a reduced price ticket that goes with it. So keeping those prices flat, simplifying the approach, and really across the board looking at ways that we can improve all areas of our operation, from the club to ticketing to communications to game day experience, and then certainly to the Bailey as well, which I think you guys may want to touch on.
Yeah, Jeff. I got to talk to you at Moorline, I think it was last week, and since then you've come out with a email, assigned ticket reps for season ticket holders that keep us informed. Just wanted to say thank you for that brilliant idea. But on top of that, you also have released news about new Bailey ticket armbands. Wanted to know how you guys came up with that idea. Do you think it'll improve the Bailey this year?
Yeah, well, let me take you back, and really it goes back to kind of holistically looking across the board at all the things that we do. Again, game day, presentation, communications, marketing, how we connect with our fans. And the Bailey is a huge, huge part of who we are and what we do. So like all those other areas, we wanted to enhance it. We wanted to improve it. And one of the challenges with the Bailey, it was very transient in year one, meaning that, we only had about 600 season ticket holders in that space that holds roughly 1,700. So we had a lot of users coming and going, maybe folks that didn't have the best interest of the team at hand, maybe some people that were abusing the situation. And we really wanted to make this a special, special place for our season ticket holders. And obviously the season ticket holders spoke for themselves, going from 600 to 1,700 season ticket holders. Selling out the Bailey months in advance of the season was just tremendous support. So we knew as an organization, we really wanted to preserve the experience in the Bailey. And we talked to all the different supporters groups. We talked to a lot of the trial users that were in the Bailey. And the underlying theme was one that was really about the preservation of the experience. So every season ticket holder in the Bailey will receive a bar-coded wristband, one for each of the matches, that will grant them kind of their VIP access to the Bailey. And last year we came across a lot of issues with mobile barcodes being duplicated, printed home tickets being replicated, people trying to sneak in the Bailey, and really created a situation that was difficult for those people that really treated it with respect and were there for the betterment of the team. So we feel very excited and optimistic about the experience of the Bailey this year. Being sold out to season ticket holders is really going to create that VIP and exclusive environment as well. And no doubt about it, the Bailey is really kind of the lifeblood of us on game day and beyond.
Do you think the wristbands will keep out the donut and that pesky Bearcat that sneak in?
I don't think so. Everybody loves the donut. Everybody loves Duncan and the Bearcat. So, no, but again, it all comes back to the experience, the benefit of being a season ticket holder, and really the preservation of that space in the Bailey. We hear it from our players. We hear it from the visiting teams. We hear it from the media. We hear it from the folks that come for the first time and say, what in the world is going on in that north end zone? It's one of the coolest things they've seen at a sporting event. And we want to keep it special, and we want to make it unique. And we really believe that these are some small steps to accomplish that.
Jeff Griffin here. Definitely glad to have you on the show. Really looking forward to opening night. But to a non-season ticket holder, how are you guys advertising and trying to sell 3 games in 8 days?
That's a great question. And if you really look at the schedule, you can see where there's some clusters of matches for us. Maybe there's kind of 3-game waves in each of the months. So, from a marketing standpoint, we try to be as methodical as we can. And obviously, when you're selling the opener, you're really kind of selling. If you notice some of the marketing and communications that are going out, a lot of it is tailored to opening week. And 3 matches in a week is a lot. But there's also the carryover of media exposure, kind of the buzz and conversation through social media, the experiential side of things when people are at the games, sharing photos and stories that come with that. So believe it or not, we do find some success when we've got clusters of games because, again, that media coverage and the stories that are being told during that time. So, last year we really hit our stride in June and July, and that's when we were just back to back to back with games and matches. And we really felt that it benefited the club to have some of those clusters of games.
So Jeff, we've seen a lot of new faces, new bodies in the front office, especially in your ticketing staff. What is new for your ticketing procedures staff in 2017, and what can we expect that might be new on game days?
Yeah, we don't have a huge sales staff, but we've got a great one, and I'm really proud of the team that's been put together. I mentioned it earlier that everybody in the organization is involved with sales, and you think about when you don't have a huge staff, everybody's got to play a role. So, hats off to everyone in our organization, but I'm extremely proud of the sales team that we have. Greg Walker and Josh, a lot of people have gotten to know over the inaugural season. We've recently hired a new director of operations, Austin Schneider. We've got 3 terrific seasonal sales reps that we've added into the staff. Sam, Trevor, and Jack have been on board with us here for the past couple of months, and they've been terrific in the messaging and additional outreach for us. So yeah, I think it goes back to simplification of what we're offering, the preservation of the Bailey and what it means for season ticket holders there, the 6-pack that we're rolling out. But we've also, for the first time, added a benefit to season ticket holders that's a bit of a voucher program. So one of the biggest challenges of being a season ticket holder, a lot of times, is just general schedule conflict. I've got a wedding, I've got a family reunion, I can't make a game. And we're allowing season ticket holders to pick up to 2 games where they can take their tickets where they might miss a game and apply them to a different match. So it creates a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more customization for season ticket holders. We're also going to be adding a new ticket location at the stadium. So on the north end, just adjacent to the Bailey itself, by that gate 8, we'll have another point of sale there. Just knowing that a lot of times it's challenging being on campus, getting to the box office on game day. We're talking about more customizations and direct one-on-one communications with our season ticket holders, having designated sales reps, and really just putting the focus on customer service in year 2. So year 1 was a lot of just hold on for dear life and let's do the best that we can. But year 2, again, a lot more analysis, a little bit more methodical in our approach, and certainly a significant focus on customer service and engagement with our season ticket holders and our first-time users.
Now, Jeff, we haven't received the wristbands yet, but this is a 2-part question here. How do we are we able to share wristbands? Like, if I can't make a match, can I give it to a friend? And then also, say that there's an instance where we see that the Bailey's not being filled, maybe 90% capacity every match due to maybe not being able to share wristbands or other different features. How does the club, how will the club address maybe filling up that area?
Yeah, I think like anything else that we do, we're gonna assess it, we're gonna analyze it, we're gonna see how it goes, and we'll always continue to evolve and adapt. The first wave of season tickets were dropped in the mail through our fulfillment center this morning, so they're en route. The cavalry is coming, and there'll be a lot of season tickets hitting mailboxes here towards the end of the week. So when you do receive the Bailey wristbands, absolutely, without question, those can be transferred. You can give them to a buddy, a friend, a relative, coworker, whatever that is. What we're just trying to protect against, again, last year we had a lot of abuse in the mobile barcodes being replicated, the print-at-home tickets being duplicated. So if you should happen to lose a wristband or you have a special situation, as usual, reach out to the sales team. We'll make some accommodations for you. We do have the ability to reprint a Bailey ticket on our card stock or ticket stock that can be used on game day. We can leave some things at will call. We can get creative, but I think everybody understands the purpose and the why behind what we're doing with the barcoded wristband. But there are some options, and yes, absolutely, it's transferable. And yes, we absolutely will keep an eye on ticket usage, how the Bailey is looking on game day. And even though, we moved to a barcoded wristband this year, last year with all the ticket options, again, your normal season, traditional season ticket, your mobile barcodes, print homes, we still had a percentage of those tickets that went unused. That on game day, we have the ability to track every barcode that comes in. And I think you'll also see some things from a customer service standpoint this year where we reward people who have perfect attendance. And at the end of the season, we notice that, hey, Brian, you've got, all 17 of your barcodes have been used. That's terrific. Even if you didn't go to the game, you put that ticket to use. That's very, very important for us. Filling up that stadium, how it looks on television, the perception from the MLS and around the country is important to us. So, but yes, long-windedly answering your question, we will absolutely analyze how the tickets are being used this year, and we will always be willing to evolve and adapt if it's not working.
Well, Jeff, again, we appreciate you joining us here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I'm going to get you out of here on this question because I know we're only 1 week into the season, but preparations for that big friendly coming up this summer is always underway. So where do things stand as far as the friendly go, and what kind of preparations have you and your staff been under right now?
It's a great question. Yes, absolutely. There will be an international friendly this summer. That game will be in July. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes from Jeff Birding and Mark McCullers, Dan McNally, and others to really position the most appropriate team to be here. And it's complicated. You can't always get everybody that you want.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into these teams internationally that come overseas, and there's a little bit of a tour that they go through, so there's got to be other cities, other teams that engage with these folks and make themselves available. So just know that we have been hard at work. Crystal Palace was an amazing event for us, really a tipping point in our first season that changed us from a semi-pro soccer team on the rise to really an international story. So our ability to carry that momentum into year two, and I really believe there'll be people who were there and won't want to miss it, and the people that couldn't make it and heard about it won't want to miss it in year two. So we're excited about the possibilities. I think in the coming weeks, you'll hear some finalization to who that team is going to be, protocol on tickets, and other opportunities to be engaged. But I guarantee it's going to be a match that you won't want to miss.
Well, we're looking forward to it. And, again, congratulations on all the success as far as the ticket office goes. You guys are absolutely crushing it. And I'll tell you what, as a fan and an admirer, we look forward every week to those announcements about those new ticket numbers. So keep sending them our way, will you?
Yeah, likewise. That's great. No, thank you, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time and having me on again and everything that you guys are doing for the club and soccer in the area. So thanks for all that you do.
Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate it. That's Jeff Smith. He's the Vice President of Ticketing at FC Cincinnati joining us. Jeff, take it easy. We'll see you at the game someday.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks again.
All right, that's Jeff giving us a ring here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Good stuff from him, as always. Really enjoy having him on. He brings a lot of information to the show when he does. So interesting stuff there about the Bailey. So maybe some concerns eased there as far as the new policy goes. You were kind of shaking your head up and down there, Brian, there towards the end. Did you get the answers you were looking for regarding the Bailey?
We're getting there. We're taking the step in the right direction. I love seeing. We put out a poll yesterday, 24-hour poll, about if people are happy with this new procedure. And about, I want to say 60% love it. About 25 to 30 say it's a step in the right direction. So I think the club, got creative, put some forethought into it. And, you probably could tell with my question there, I'm just worried at some point that the usage won't be there. Maybe it's 90% versus 105% people standing in the aisles. And that concerns me a little bit. But I said, Jeff's a good guy. I worked under him as an intern while I worked at UC. And I think they'll make the right decisions moving forward.
I get where you're coming from, Brian, but to alleviate your concerns, that is your diehards. Like, those are the people that will have the perfect attendance record for the most part. I think you might see some tapering off, but those are also people, like, I'm going to give my Bailey ticket away if I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, I hope so. You realize there was only 600 of those season tickets sold last year, and I hope that it's that group. But it remains to be seen, especially after this first 3 weeks. I think we'll have a pretty good handle on it to see how those situations will develop. I mean, I worked in ticket sales for 6 years, and that's my number one fear was the usage, and I think that kind of carries over here. That needs to be a raucous crowd. That needs to be a spot that's filled up every single game, and I'd like to to really take the steps to do it. I mean, look, Brad and I have a third ticket just so we can bring new people to games and get people involved. And, I hope that people in this section take those steps to make sure those tickets are filled.
I think we should start a Twitter poll about Brian's third ticket and whether that's hogging Bailey tickets or not.
Okay.
Hey, we utilized all of our seats last year, so I don't think there was one game where those barcodes weren't used. Yeah. Perfect attendance, whether it was us or fans. So I know there's several people on Facebook right now that used them a time or two.
Well, let's transition now back to Charleston. We want to hear from you, though. Brad Weigel waiting patiently to take your calls. 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. We want to know what you thought of the match against Charleston, the thought of the defense, the thought of the goalkeeping, the thought of everything FC Cincinnati. We want to hear from you, 513-399-KICK. So let's talk about a little more in-depth, Boston. You made the trip down to Charleston. Give us the scoop. What was it like being down there for a game at MUSC Stadium?
Yeah, so on the way down, I reached out to some Charleston Battery supporters in the regiment, and they graciously invited us in. Every single FC Cincinnati fan that came down got to go to that tailgate. They fed us, grilled up.
Forced you to wear yellow.
They fed us. They fed us shrimp and bratwurst and all kinds of snacks. They baked brownies and cookies. It was great and very friendly. I mean, just chatting back and forth. Everyone was hospitable. It was a whole different experience. The only previous tailgate I had been to was Louisville, and there was still that tension in the air there. I didn't have that in Charleston. And then the 30 of us moved into our own little section, and we had a great time watching the game. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there is a restaurant and museum attached to the stadium because it's the oldest soccer-specific stadium in the United States. And the stuff in that museum is just amazing. You had fully signed Manchester United and Arsenal championship jerseys, balls. I can't even imagine the amount of money that is hanging on those walls there. It was beautiful. I was hanging out with Jono, who's a member of the Pride, at that bar, and he was losing his mind. He was literally running and trying to tell me stories about where this jersey comes from and where this kit comes from. It was a blast.
Yeah, the pictures look like you had a really good time down there in Charleston, and saw you on TV a few times. Not going to lie. I was pretty excited. Every time I would see you, I would post about it. Yep, there's our Boston.
Yep. They should have panned a few more times. I was looking pretty good that night.
Yeah, I did see a picture. Your wife was holding up the Cincinnati Soccer Talk koozie. Well done, Kona.
Hey, I think half of the Battery supporters own that koozie now.
Nice. Well, at least they're sporting some orange and blue, unlike you. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. So let's talk about the game itself, shall we? 2-1, the loss. I thought for the first 15 to 20 minutes, guys, we looked really, really good. Like I thought, wow, this is going to go well. And then, sure enough, we give up the goal on the corner kick, another set-piece goal given up. Boston, that was kind of right in front of where you were sitting, actually. Talk about that play a little bit, because when I first watched the game and watching it live, I thought to myself, what was Mitch thinking?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. He went up in the air and he got caught out of position. And if you're gonna go all the way out of position there, you need to be able to make sure you can make the catch. And from the ground, at least, it didn't look like he was even close. So I think it was just a judgment error, honestly. He got caught way out and paid the price for that one.
Yeah, what Griffin, I know you're a big goalkeeping fan. Your thoughts on that play?
I really don't know why he was in that position. Boston said it best. I think he got caught out of position and didn't know what to do. He's kind of halfway in between in goal and out of goal, so he just kind of took a dive for it and unfortunately missed on the punch.
Is this something, Brian, that we should start to be concerned with? Because this isn't the first time we've seen him struggle with set pieces and plays in his 6-yard box.
Well, I give him the benefit of the doubt. It's a new stadium or a different stadium, and you never know the different things he might have been weighing there. I was more disappointed, honestly, in the build-up to that corner kick and the lack of a breakdown between Quinn and Pollock, allowing to that corner kick. As I said, I think earlier on there were very few defensive lapses, but that was a key point. We said we got it to eliminate those chances, those opportunities for Charleston, and to me that was a big opportunity that we absolutely should have cleared defensively, and they just let it go. So hopefully we can address that going into next week, because they're going to be facing some speed.
But that's the thing, though. If you're an opposing team and you're seeing now you've got it, you've kind of put it out there that if you just put balls into the box, that's a way to beat us. We saw it last year in the playoff game. I mean, Charleston with the long throw-in beat us on a play there in the 6-yard box. So this is starting to become a pattern, right? I mean, but it is correctable.
Well, it just depends on what formation and what responsibilities our guys have. If it's zonal, if it's man marking, and we got to be better. Honestly, you thought with Austin Berry coming back that would be addressed a little bit, because he's pretty decent with his head. But yeah, I mean, it's going to need to be corrected. Again, I don't know if this is a change from Coach Koch to Harks, or Harks to Koch. Sorry, it's going to need to be addressed.
Subes, you talked about that long throw, and that guy didn't play against us. But did you know, I learned when I was down there, they actually narrowed their field. It made it easier for that guy to throw him in.
Really?
He's not on the team anymore.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yo, I knew he didn't play, but yeah, no, they had narrowed that field last year. Before it was a little bit wider.
Interesting. Clever.
That is pretty interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's another reason why we widened the field at Nippert, right? I'm just kidding. That is not why. Had nothing to do with it, I'm sure. Let's talk about the goal that we scored, though, right? We got it back to 1-1. Guess what? Our main number 9, Jibby, getting a goal. In fact, right in front of where Boston was sitting. Good video of it. Very, very quick video of it, but you got a good video of it. Good cross into the box. One of the few, actually, good crosses we had into the box on Saturday night. But you could tell right away that he's going to be a big target in the 18, Boston. And if you can get balls onto that forehead, he's going to put them in the net.
Yeah, he likes to head him into the goal. I really, really like the strategy, especially you got Delbridge on set pieces, and you got GB just during the game or also for set pieces. But it does get a little bit concerning when your preseason goals and your only goal so far are all headers. You know, eventually we got to use our feet. This is soccer, right?
You would think. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. What did you make overall of the offense, though, Griffin, on Saturday night? It seemed like, and it's this was a really kind of an issue a year ago as well. A lot of possession, but not that much going forward as far as opportunities. Even when you look at the stats, I think the stats might have been a little misleading. I really don't feel like they had that many opportunities on goal. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think, what was it, 61% possession, I think it was?
Yeah, close to that.
I don't know. It seemed like an awful lot of, let's lob the ball to GB and see if he can do something with it. I mean, he's a big target, but something's got to change from Saturday, and hopefully they've addressed that.
It's going to have to be speed. The ball bogged down the midfield when they got it, and then there was nobody to link up play there between the midfield and GB, because we couldn't get the ball forward, couldn't get the ball in the right spots. Fordyce would either have to drop, or Fordyce would have to go right next to GB to play off the long ball. So there's that hole there that we're going to have to figure out. But give all credit due to their defense for just wrecking havoc and pressing both Quinn and Walker to make bad passes.
And how much of that, too, comes down to the fact that they got the early goal. They got the goal to go up and kind of bunkered down. We saw this a year ago. Once teams sat back, we couldn't break anybody down.
You also kind of have to take it when the first 30 minutes or so, we were doing really well in those quick combination passes. And you even saw that kind of when we got back into the game when it was 1-1 quick combination passes. I don't know why we just don't stick to that, because it definitely seemed to work. Now, bunkering down there at the end, or you're dropping back in defense, that's always going to be tough to break down with those big guys. But there's no reason why we still shouldn't be able to adapt to push either Quinn or Walker high up the field. Their heat charts, their heat chart for Quinn especially, he never made it past the half or mid line mark. So.
Well, that's not entirely true, because Quinn did take that free kick. That was actually, he got it up and over the wall. Had it been a little more closer to the post, he might have actually scored on that. But I'm saying that jokingly, of course. But you're right. He did have to sit back an awful lot.
Yeah, I mean, and Walker did well to kind of try to link play. I mean, that's just a tough team to break down.
Yeah, and let's also pump the brakes a little bit too. It's week 1. These are the same 3 points we didn't get a year ago, so it's not like we lost any ground there, I guess, from that standpoint. But you do want to see the team progressing a little bit, I guess, in the sense that they at least scored this time down in Charleston. They couldn't say that a year ago. So I personally would have liked to have seen them bring on a little bit more pace and a little bit sooner. I would have loved to have seen Victor Mansoure and Kadeem Dakers bombing up and down the flanks there, but we just didn't see it. Maybe that's something that'll change coming up against Pittsburgh, which we'll preview here in just a moment. 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. Give us a ring. Let us know your thoughts on the game against Charleston and maybe what you're looking forward to against Pittsburgh. Let's go to the phones, though. Let's talk with our main man, Yersky. Yersky, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? You know, you guys were focusing a little bit on defense earlier, but I think it was the lack of offensive production that really hindered our ability to stay in this game. The big focus was, I think it was 62 goals at the beginning of the year, and that I know it's very early on in the year, but with the lack of communication, if that stays consistent, there's no way this team is going to score more than 2 to 3 goals a game. I'm just wondering what you guys think about that, or if it's just early season and we have a lot of work to do.
Well, 2 to 3 goals a game.
Go ahead, Boston. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. 2 to 3 goals a game would get you to 62, I believe. But now that you've had one, you got to make it up, right? I think something a lot of people forget is that Charleston was undefeated at home forever. I mean, I think last season, at some point going into the season, they were like 13 or more home games unbeaten. Like, that is a tough place. And because they lost one last year or two, everyone just forgot about it. But it's still a really tough place to play. They're somehow really good at home.
Absolutely. It's just one of those things that was the biggest focus, I think, was the offensive production. At least that's what we were hearing from Jeff and those and the front office, and that was the biggest thing that I saw. Of course, you have the defensive issues that were persistent from last year, but the offensive issues continue to be something that they wanted to fix, but I'm not seeing the change. Again, it's week 1. It's very early, but that's one thing that kind of worried me in week 1.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see them score some more goals. We'll find out. Hopefully they'll get their scoring boots ready for Pittsburgh coming up this weekend. Yarsky, we appreciate the call, buddy.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a great night.
You too. Let's talk with Ken. He's out in Oklahoma. Ken, what's happening? You want to talk a little formation?
Yeah, guys. How you doing? I figured I'd call in. This is the only way I can get on. Yeah, I'm
First of all, I gotta preface this by saying this is our own Ken Hetker. Ken is out in Oklahoma right now. We will eventually get him on the podcast. Don't worry, Ken. We will get you on. But now you're actually on the show, so you want to talk formation?
Yeah, I watched that game again, and I am just not convinced that a one forward set works for this team. I know Brad and Brian and I will always probably disagree at some level on this. I don't like GB by himself, and it seems like we work the ball up the wing, and he's the only guy there. Fordyce can't be in the middle. We have no secondary striker, basically, sitting in the box, and we want to score goals, If we have nobody in the box, we're not going to score goals. And just want to get your guys' opinion, especially Griff's, because I think Griff is always more on my side than the rest of you guys.
All right, Griffin. So he's putting you on the spot. What do you think?
Hey, man, don't throw me under the bus, Ken. I'm very offensive minded myself. I would love to see a 2-forward formation. I've seen some great highlight reels of Fordyce playing some forward. Maybe put Vic up there with GB. Seeing some Andy Craven up there with Vic. I mean, we got all kinds of different combinations we could throw up there.
But even at 1.2 Saturday night, I think, Brian, didn't you comment that this even looked like a 4-4-2?
Yeah, it did, especially when he moved closer. When we started to huff balls up further up the field, then he looked to be moving forward. But I'm going to have to disagree with you, Ken, a little bit on the formation.
No surprise.
I think it's a personnel decision versus a formation change, because you look at those stats from Saturday's game. There was no support from the left side of the field where Jamie McLaughlin was. And I'm going to ruin my later podcast by giving you this deal. GB had 3 touches left of center in the entire match, and those 3 touches were fractionally on the left of center. That's a personnel move. When you're able to maybe get a Mansoray on that left to run at somebody, that's gonna make some more room for Gibby. That's gonna make some more room for Fordyce in a central attacking role. And I think that solves our problem there. I think it was a lack of the right person in that role. And yeah, it's going to be tough to roll a 20-year-old out there in a first match for FC Cincinnati in the beginning of the year. But I think that's really going to help you going forward, breaking down some teams and giving room for these guys to put on a show offensively.
I got a question for you, Brian.
I was just going to say, I feel like
Go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead, Mr. Push Pop. Well, I was going to say, the way our formation works is we want to get the outside backs forward. And
how many times did Pollock
it seems
get
like
up
a
the
giant
field?
rotation. And so when Boehner goes forward, he passes it to the corner for Wiedemann, which is where the right-hand side of the attack was. So the whole left side of the offense, including Jimmy, seems to go back in a defensive set. So that leaves GB up front all by himself with Fordyce hanging back. And it doesn't work for us. And you might be right in the fact that it's personnel, but it's just a terrible situation for us, and it looked horrible all game long.
Well, you had
And
Mikel
Fordyce
Chang,
did
in
not
all
get
fairness. You
forward
had
enough.
Mikel Chang driving right at Pollock the entire match. So that is a good point. But also, I mean, and that could be why McLaughlin was in that defensive side. But if we're a team with 61% of the offense or possession, if you're able to get that personnel change out there and left, and I don't want to break too many things, but I think we're going to be seeing some more personnel changes with the club. But if you're able to get somebody to drive down that left side of the field, you're going to take pressure off everywhere. You're going to be able to give different looks. You're not going to have to expose Boehner every single time. And I think that'll generate more. So I'm not necessarily thinking it's a 4-4-2 because if we want to go to a 4-4-2 or something like that, because you're still going to have that hole in the center of the park. Maybe that 4-1-4-1.
You put Vic forward and go ahead.
No, I say maybe we go to like a 4-1-4-1 and maybe add a second attacker in that center hole there. That might be able to help, but then it exposes us in front of the center back that was coming back from an injury.
If they play a 4-1-4-1, is Mansoray suited to play left midfield at that point?
I mean, I think it might even be better. He's going to have to push higher. He's going to have to provide the width versus the outside backs.
Is Quinn suited to play CDM? Defensive mid.
$1 question.
At that point. So I want to see all our offensive pieces forward, and Vic up top with GB and Fordyce in the cam position, and Wiedemann on the right, and maybe Craven on the left. I'm sitting there going, and then we can just let our backs hang back and play defense more so. Only opinion. We're all number 10s. That's all.
No, it's good. I like having discussions in person versus on our Slack page. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ken, we appreciate
glad
the
you
call.
called in.
Have fun laying the wood out in Oklahoma, all right?
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy. That's Ken.
Good call, man.
Ken Hetger giving us a ring here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We've got a few minutes left here in the program. 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. Have your thoughts heard here on this podcast. They got it back to 1-1, and then I don't even know where to begin. Austin Berry had a howler for about a minute. He had a bad tackle outside of the box, landed on his elbow, and then immediately with the slide tackle in the box, drawing the foul, penalty, a PK, which, by the way, we gave Mitch a little criticism earlier on about his play on that corner kick. Well, he made the save on the penalty kick, but the deflection goes right back to the goal scorer, which the cheap way to score, but that's how they won the game. Let's talk about the penalty. What in the world was Austin Berry thinking there, guys?
Too many blood orange IPAs.
I think
that was me.
Once he left his feet, I think he regretted it.
Yeah, I think he just got a little beat. I actually interviewed Alan after the game, talked about it a little bit. Alan said he was really looking forward to going back and looking at that tape of Austin's tackle there. And one interesting note he did tell me was that Mitch and him trained on set pieces and on penalty kicks in the rare case that it would have happened. And Mitch knew, just judging by tape, which side that guy was going to go to. Alan said we knew he was going to go to that side. Mitch did a great job of saving it, but you know, what can you do against that tap-in?
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite shot was from the low angle from far distance in the foreground. You see the tackle being made, and then you see Jimmy McLaughlin just throw his arms up in disgust. Like, what? That was kind of funny during the broadcast. Not funny because we ended up losing because of it, but I got a chuckle out of that. Sometimes you just have to laugh when things don't go your way. So Griff, I guess part of me watching that game, I thought to myself, wow, Delbridge and Berry are really struggling. And maybe that was me being harsh. And I don't know. I thought our center backs who played so well a year ago, I thought they really had a hard time. And I don't know how fit Berry was. Obviously, he was fit enough that they gave him the start. But he hadn't played in a few weeks with his elbow injury. But I don't know. I guess I expected more from a guy like Harrison Delbridge, who was the first team All-USL a year ago. And I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just expected more from our center backs on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm there with you, Subes. I don't know what it was. I couldn't pinpoint one thing, but I just felt like certainly in the second half they looked more gassed than usual.
Yeah. You know,
Would you have made the subs earlier, you think?
Yes.
Yeah, but if you make those subs defensively, then you've got nothing up front, especially with only 3 subs now. That's quite difficult. And who would you even put in? And are you talking about subbing out those guys at center back, Boston? Or are you talking about the making subs up front?
Yeah, I mean, he used the first one on Bone, which I think maybe could have been earlier, in my opinion, and then I would have saved something for the attack, in my humble non-coaching experience opinion. I would have subbed the other side out, the McLaughlin side, instead of the side that already gave you a goal in Andrew Wiedemann.
Yeah, I think we were screaming for about 30 minutes, right around the 60-minute mark, about making a change to that left side and getting somebody like Mansouré on, somebody with some pace, because you're right. I think we were all in agreement watching that game that left side needed some help. I would have made the changes sooner too. You're right, but again, first game, it is what it is. They dropped 3 points there. Now they've got a chance coming up against Pittsburgh here to avenge that loss in Charleston and get back to winning ways, hopefully here in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've got that new podcast, March to the Match, that if you're subscribed
March to Match Day, man.
Yep, if you're subscribed to the podcast, you will get it automatically. Our own Brian Weigel putting that together. I thought he did a good job in that first one last week. So Brian will provide a little bit more of an in-depth look heading into that Pittsburgh game. So what that means now is it's Growler Cup time. and none of us got it right last week. I think out of everybody, there was only 2 people that got it correct, and they even got the scoreline correct. So congrats to those folks who shall remain nameless because, well, we don't want everybody knowing you picked against FC Cincinnati. I guess you'll find out when the standings get published a little bit later this week. So you're anonymous for the next few days. But, yeah, none of us here on staff got it right. So, Boston, we'll start with you. Give us your Growler Cup prediction for Saturday night against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Kickoff at 5 p.m.
Yes. So I watched the Pittsburgh-New York game, and they are better than last season. Yes, in my opinion. New York is worse also, or at least they played in that game worse than 2016. But due to that, I don't know if we have all of our pieces put together as well. I think we're going to be better. Not quite there. I'm going to give us 1 point, 2-2 scoreline.
All right. So another somewhat goal fest there at Riverhounds, or Highmark Stadium where the Riverhounds play. We'll be there in person again. Looking forward to that, riding the bus up to Pittsburgh. So you're going for a 2-2?
Yep.
All right. Griffin, how about you?
I'm going to be optimistic here. Pittsburgh gave up 3 against a not as good New York squad. I think we can put up 3, and we're only going to give up 2.
Once in the USL, I believe.
3-2 Cincinnati.
All right. Another goal fest for Griffin. Wow, okay. How about you, Bri?
Let's not forget, Red Bulls still had 3 huge offensive pieces available for this match in Vincent Bezecourt, Junior Flemings, and Florian Velo. So the defensive side is where New York was hurting. On the other opposite side, Pittsburgh, they love to push the ball high. They love to get into the attack, but they are extremely susceptible to the counter and counterattack. So I am actually going to pick FC Cincinnati here, 2-1 on the road. I think that our defense is significantly better, even though we are moaning about it tonight. I think our defense will be significantly better than what New York Red Bull had to offer. So 2-1 to the soccer ball kicking good guys.
So you're going for a 2-1, huh?
2-1 FC Cincinnati.
All right. I'm torn here because I went for a 1-1 last week, and I was looking pretty good until Austin Berry had to ruin my Growler Cup prediction there. I still think we are very prone to giving up goals. I have a hard time believing we're I don't know, we're struggling to find the net. So I'm going to go for another 1-1. I think defensively we're going to be maybe a little bit better than the Red Bulls and limit Pittsburgh's offensive attack. But I still think we're going to struggle to find the back of the net. So I'll go for another draw, another 1-1 on the road there in Pittsburgh.
Subes, I'm going to have to explain to you on the next podcast Thursday on why I think the defense for Pittsburgh sets up wonderfully for FC Cincinnati.
All right. I hope you're right because, I mean, gosh, we are due for a goal fest from us. I mean, we've had one game in our history where we've scored 3 goals. That's it.
Yeah.
In games that counted, I should say.
I will gladly throw my Growler Cup prediction away for a goal fest in FC Cincinnati's favor.
Yes, I'm with you. Maybe the fact that we're busing up to Pittsburgh is like the thing that gets him going. Although you are kind of bad luck.
Just Boston. Wear the right colors, Boston. Just wear the right colors.
You guys say that, but I went to a lot of FC Cincinnati games we won last year.
Yeah, you went to more than I did, so not much I can say there. Good stuff. Make sure you check back to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com a little bit later on this week. Our main man, Yosef Sagai, will post the updated standings. And for those who aren't on the podcast this week, they will provide their analysis and their Growler Cup predictions as well. All right, episode 58 is almost over. I think it's time we get out of here with some of our final thoughts. I'll start with you, Brian Weigel.
I just want to thank all the people that came out on Saturday to see our live show. The Bailey Bastards is also people who came out and supported sports games for kids. So I love to to do that again this year. We had, you said, a phenomenal crowd, and if you guys want to go out if you're on the west side, this is unsolicited. Bucketheads was a blast.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun being the studio producer for that. Got you on there, and yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. You guys did a really good job with that, and hopefully we get to do more of those this summer. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it was a great time, for sure.
And I think I think I saw the final number was $2,200 raised, if I'm not mistaken, for sports games for kids.
Between that and their event on Sunday.
Well done.
Wow.
Well done. Tom Grabo, you're the man, the Cincy superfan, doing good things where it was the sports games for kids. All right, your final thoughts, Griffin.
Final thoughts. I'm going to piggyback off of Jeff Smith here. Thoughts and prayers out to Brian Haynes.
Absolutely.
Soccer is a big part of his life, as it is ours. So let's say a prayer for Brian.
I echo those sentiments as well. We're thinking about you, buddy. Nothing but the best for you, Brian. Good stuff there, Griffin. Glad to have you back on the show. It's been a while, but glad to have you back. Enjoy the camping trip this weekend. Where are you camping at?
Going out to Hocking Hills, going to test out the old hammock method. Usually we do the tent, but I think we're going to try the hammock method this time.
Interesting. Do you want to explain what that is? Because I have no idea what. The minute you said camping, you lost me. So.
We're going to a site where you can't drive to it, so you literally have to carry everything that you need. So we're actually just going to take a hammock, depending on how cold it is. You obviously have to layer up for that, but they have rain flies to keep you dry. But you literally sleep in a hammock all night.
Yeah, I'm out. The fact that you can't drive to that place kind of scares me, and I know there are wildlife out there. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Oh, for sure. We were surrounded by coyotes last time, so
okay, great.
Definitely got it.
Well, I'm going to be surrounded by Riverhounds on Saturday. I'll just that's bad enough. Good to have you back, though, Griff. Be safe out there, all right?
All right, Subes, thanks.
I don't want to hear any reports of bears or animals or whatever. It scares me. All right, Boston, your final thoughts.
Oh, I'm looking forward to posting an opening in Cincinnati Soccer Talk next week when Griff is mauled. But no, seriously, want to give a shout out to everyone who got on the Cincinnati Soccer Talk bus trip to Pittsburgh. You guys are all awesome, and I look forward to hanging out with you Friday. It's going Saturday. It's going to be
an event I'm not aware about.
Well, I'm so scared about missing the bus or you guys leaving me. I'm actually going to pitch a tent in the parking lot Friday night.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Haven't done that since like the Nintendo 64.
You should be one of those guys. Have you seen the videos on YouTube where guys like they make like apartments in Walmarts and Targets and the shelving? You should go do that.
Oh yeah. Like in the paper towel section?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like that. Subes, don't give me ideas like that.
Good stuff. Looking forward to hanging out with you as well this weekend on the bus. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, it's not too late actually to enter the Growler Cup. With the result the way it was, not that many people got points, just 2. So there's still time to get into the Growler Cup. If you want to support the show, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. I'm going to give a big shout out to Claire Hughes. She's the most recent entrant to the Growler Cup. And by the way, Claire, with her support, put us over the hump for our first goal, $250 per month. Claire, thank you for supporting us here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We didn't have an episode captain this week. If you're interested and you want to wear the armband for an episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk, go to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. And, of course, our big thanks to King's Hammer. They've been supporting our podcast the last 4 weeks. Big shout-out to Tim Bronsel and everybody at King's Hammer for their support of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. You can find our show on iTunes, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/iTunes. Make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. The more subscribers we have there, the better it is for that channel, and we'll try to be providing more and more video content there as well. Don't forget March to Match Day. That'll be coming up later this week. And all kinds of analysis, everything broken down on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. It's going to be a good week. So thanks to everybody who goes out and visits our website each and every day. We do appreciate it. That's going to do it for Cincinnati Soccer Talk episode 58. So for Brian Weigel, Boston Brazell, and Griffin, I'm Subes reminding you to watch your tackles. We will catch up with you next week.